Australia. She's founder of Villa Management and creator of the International Social Club membership. She's an expert on social media and helping businesses increase their exposure, leads and sales. Welcome, Brooke. Thanks so much for coming.
Thank you. Thanks for having me. Hi, everyone. So a little bit about me before we dive in. I was working in events and marketing and PR for about 10 years. That's when I decided to start my own business. So I started Villa Management, which was originally events. Now, I was using social media as a really low-cost way to promote events and raise awareness for events. And I thought at this time, I wonder if this is purely for service-based or if this would work for product-based businesses as well. So at that point, I just started another business, online sunglasses store actually. And I used specifically Instagram. So I became obsessed with Instagram to attract an audience and use this platform to then launch the store. Now the store did very well, but I thought, surely this is just what everybody else is doing. This is so simple, it's so easy, it doesn't barely cost a thing, so surely I can't be doing anything new. I attended a networking event and everyone in the room had to share their biggest struggle in business, and every single person except me said it was social media, and I was absolutely blown away. I thought, how am I doing something that's any different to anybody else? And from that point on, I started teaching small social media workshops, and I thought, surely in 6 months' time, everybody is going to know what they're doing. And that was 4 years ago. So it seems everyone doesn't know what they're doing with social media, and here we are today. So today I am going to talk to you about influencer marketing and how to hire social media management. So whether you have a team in-house that is managing your social, or you're looking for an agency, we're basically going to talk about today what to look for. So first we'll talk about influencer marketing, exactly what it is, how it works, why you should use it to grow your brand and attract new clientele as well. If you're engaging influencers, what to look for, and basically how to ensure you don't get scammed, because there's a lot of fakes out there. So we're going to talk about that as well. And then the cost. So was anybody here during yesterday's panel on celebrity endorsement? So a question came up about the cost of influencers, so I'm going to talk about that as well. And then hiring social media management, basically what to look for, again, to make sure that you don't get ripped off. So let's start with influencer marketing. What exactly is it? It is a new form of marketing that has come up since the rise of social media. So essentially, what we're doing is we're using people of influence on social media that have a highly engaged following of our target market. We're trying to raise that brand awareness and really drive that message to the right consumers. That is the purpose of influencer marketing. Now, it's similar to celebrity endorsements, okay? Because influencers are essentially the celebrities of social media. So we want them to have that engaged audience, and the audience is made up of people that aspire to be like the influencer, and that's why it's so powerful. So by next year, influencer marketing is going to be a multi-billion-dollar industry. It is huge, it is powerful, and you cannot ignore it. So why should you use it? Really, it is the digital world, word of mouth, online. It allows you to reach an engaged audience, and it allows you to attract new clientele to your spa. Now, the reason it is so powerful is because the people who follow the influencers, they trust their judgment. They believe in what they're saying because they want to be like them. And that is the power of the influence. They want to do exactly what they're seeing this person that they follow and admire so much is doing. And they will buy into anything because they trust them. Okay, so you're essentially using influence as well to shortcut that trust factor that you're trying to build up with your marketing. They already trust the influencer, and if you can latch onto that, you don't have to use that time and marketing and money to try and gain their trust. Now, User-generated content, which is the content that is produced by the influencers themselves, is 40% more trusted than traditional advertising. So again, that's why it is so powerful, because you can bypass that know, like, trust factor that takes a lot of time with traditional advertising to build up. It is more authentic because the influencer is genuinely sharing their experience from their point of view. And that's why their followers like it. It's relatable. It's something that they can understand. It doesn't feel fake. It doesn't feel produced. It doesn't feel like a commercial. It feels like something that they love and enjoy and has come from their heart. And their followers want to experience that same feeling of love and joy and whatever it may be. So if you are going to engage influencers, how do they work, or what are you expected to do? So you can offer free or discounted services in exchange for this content, the sharing of your branded content on their social media channels. What you may also like to do is look at assets beyond just the promotion. So getting a hold of the photography, getting a hold of the videography, getting a hold of the blogs, getting a hold of the testimonials from this influencer that you can then use in your marketing, because that's very powerful as well. And you can own that content that you can then keep reusing and reusing. Now, when it comes to influencer marketing, it can be a little bit difficult to track the ROI from it. And this is a problem that I hear come up time and time and time again. Now, if the only campaign that you're doing at the time that the influencer is visiting your spa and sharing their content, then it can be safe to assume that any leads that come after that time are from there. But if you want to get more specific, then you can use things like discount codes. You can use individual links that the influencer can share that you can track the click-through of. And that really is the best way to ensure that you're getting that return on investment, because otherwise, how do you know? Let's look at engaging influencers. So before you engage them, always do your research. Always, always, always. Always ask for a media kit. If the influencer doesn't know what a media kit is, or they don't have one, do not use them. Okay? That's the fastest way to spot a fake. If they don't want to provide you with their insights, I would always ask for screenshots. If they don't want to provide them, again, run. Do not use that person. It's a huge red flag and you cannot ignore it. So what you want to ensure that you're doing is you're checking their social media channels. You want to find someone who has the same aesthetic or very similar aesthetic to your brand and your spa, because that is the content that they're going to create and share. So you want to ensure that it aligns with your brand, because this influencer is essentially an ambassador and they're also going to be an extension of your brand as well. So things like the tone of their imagery, the tone of the way they speak in their comments as well, the way that they write their captions. You want to ensure that's in your brand voice as well, because they're attracting clientele that want to be like them. So if they're a representation of your target market, it is safe for us to assume that their followers are going to include your ideal clients as well. So look at not just their follower count, but the quality of the followers. So go through and have a look, make sure they are genuine accounts. It's pretty easy to spot fake accounts when it comes to social media. They generally have no followers, they're following heaps of people, and they have no posts. Sometimes they'll have a username that's a bunch of letters and numbers as well. That makes no sense. So have a look at the followers, make sure that they're genuine, and then have a look at the comments too. So if the comments are just a series of emojis or one word, again, you can pretty safely assume that these comments are fake and they're bought. There's a lot of fake accounts and a lot of fake engagement on social media. So it's really important that you're checking that these are genuine. Now, when you do start to work with the influencers, it is very important to keep a database as well of trusted and reliable influencers that you can come back to time and time again. Now, how do we get in touch with them? So what you've got to remember, and I think a lot of brands don't realise this, influencers are just business people, okay? So if you can contact them via email, treat it as a business relationship, because that is what it is. You want to ensure that you have a contract. You have something that very clearly and simply depicts exactly what you want, exactly what you expect, and exactly what they receive in return. There's nothing wrong with doing that. Ensure that both parties are on the same page before you even begin with the influencer agreement. If you be organised, be prepared. You're bringing this person into your spa to have an experience, okay? You want to wow them. You want to show them everything that you've got, because when you do that, they're going to produce the best content that shows how they were treated, how they feel, and that is what their followers are going to buy into. That's what the power is that lies within the influencer marketing. So the more that you can show them an amazing time, wow them, be there, be available, answer their questions, provide as much information as you can to them, you're going to get the best quality content in return. And that's where you're going to see that amazing return in your investment. Something as well that's really important is giving them your social media handles and tags and hashtags, because you can't just assume that they're going to know exactly what you want them to tag. And it's a big mistake that I see brands make. So I'm going to show you some examples. So we've got 3 examples here of influencer campaigns on social media. Now, the first one is a tag. So we've got our handle tags, which you can see down the bottom, for the spas that they are wanting to promote. It's very clear, it's not messed up with a bunch of other things, so that the audience, when they're viewing this post, can very quickly and easily click on the tag and be taken to the spa right there, without having to look for it or search for it or have any sort of confusion. Next up, we've got what we call a location tag. So what happens here is when the user views the location tag, again, they can click on it and they can see the content from other users that have visited that spa. And it brings back that UGC. So it brings back the user-generated content element, which, as I was saying at the start, is 40% more trusted. So they're getting to see the experience of other customers have had in your spa and tagged them as well. And then last but not least, we've got the hashtag. So the hashtag is simply a way to expand the reach of every single post. It increases engagement, and it essentially works like SEO within social media. So it increases the search engine optimization of your content and allows it to be found by people beyond just the people that are following your account. So it's really important. So in your contracts, make sure you've got these tags very clearly stipulated so they know exactly what they're using. Again, that's where you're going to see the biggest return in your investment. Now let's have a look at cost. So a question I get asked all the time, a very fair question, is how much do they cost? So it really varies. And I know that's hard, but it does depend on the influencer's following and also their engagement. Now, if you're looking at an influencer with about 100k followers, this is what you can expect to pay, or this is the exchange of services that I would begin discussing with them in the contract. So about 1,000 for a post, and this is Australian dollars as well, about 1,200 for a post and a blog post, 200 for a story, and anywhere between 2,000 and 5,000 for a 60-second product video. Okay, so it's big money. We're not messing around here, and that's why we do want to ensure that they're as informed as possible so you can get the best results possible. But like any business deal, everything's open to negotiation. Okay. Now let's talk about how to spot fakes. So, has anyone used influencers in the room? I know you have. I know you have. There's a lot of fakes coming up. Basically, anyone who has an Instagram account seems to call themselves an influencer these days. It is not true. So as we discussed before, request a media kit. No media kit, get rid of them. Don't even take a second glance. Ask for screenshots of their insights. Again, insights are the data on their account. Data doesn't lie. They can't make it up, and you'll be able to see very quickly and easily from that data if they have bought followers. Now, when you check the audience, do their followers look like real people, or do they look like fake accounts? Again, we're never going to convert fake accounts into bookings in your spa, so it's really important to look at this. Check for consistency in the follower growth, because if there is a sudden spike in that growth overnight, you can pretty much guarantee again that they've bought their followers. Check for the quality of engagement. What kind of comments do they receive? Be aware of the automated comments, the one-word comments, the emoji comments. We do not want influencers. Yes?
How did you calculate the engagement rates?
Okay, so there is a website, it's called Flanks. It's PHLANX. It's got an engagement calculator. Sorry. And you can basically put any Instagram account into that and it will spit out the engagement rate for you. So a good engagement rate is anywhere between 3 and 6%. Anything above that is amazing. Anything below that is a bit average. Great question. Also, you can Google them. Do they come up in the search results? Obviously check, sorry. Choking on that water. Okay, better. Google them, check if they come up in their search results, and check their Instagram as well. Check their other social channels as well. See what's on there, see if they're engaged. So now that we've done our influencers, let's have a look at social media management. So again, whether it's in-house or externally, we're going to have a little look at what it is. So essentially, it's an individual or team that's responsible for monitoring your social media presence and the content as well. We want them to be looking at your planning, we want them to be creating the strategy, and we want them to be implementing the strategy. Each spa requires bespoke social media management. So something that came up yesterday when I was talking to people after the presentation, and seems to be a real problem area, is that spas are battling with food and beverage. So I guess when it comes to social, it's actually quite simple. What you put out, you attract. So if you're putting out, or if the hotel is putting out content of food and beverage, you're going to attract followers that want food and beverage. You're not going to attract followers that want a spa treatment. So I believe it's very important for each spa to have its own unique social media presence, because then you can deliver the content that that audience wants to see. And they're not getting confused between, okay, today it's food, and tomorrow it's food, and then the next day it's food, and then randomly there's a spa picture. It doesn't make sense to the audience, and an audience that doesn't understand doesn't buy. So I would be pushing for an individual bespoke social presence for every single spa itself. Okay, I think it's really important. I'm just going to have some water. Okay. Something to remember as well. Your spa, your social presence is an online extension of your spa experience as well. So I see businesses all the time that put so much into training and education and creating this beautiful in-house experience. And then on social, it's not there. You can see comments from weeks ago that haven't been responded or acknowledged or liked or anything. And could you imagine if a customer walked into your spa and was ignored for 3 weeks? Well, they wouldn't be in there for 3 weeks. They'd be gone. So it's about bringing that customer experience online as well and letting that be an extension of your brand, because if they have a good experience online, they can then expect a good experience in the spa. Social media managers, they will often have a variety of skills. So if you're looking to hire one, you're looking for someone who has management experience, marketing experience, copywriting experience, content creation, design skills, creative thinking, and analytical skills. And if you have multiple social media accounts, you need to find someone who's comfortable managing them all. Now, why should you hire a social media manager? Well, having a strong presence is essential in the digital age. It's not going anywhere. Like I said, I thought in 6 months' time, everyone would be over it. It's growing, and the digital world changes every day, sometimes multiple times a day. Most of the time it likes to change is when I'm just about to present on the way it was, and then it changes and I have to really quickly work out. So you've got to be on top of it, you've got to have a team that's on top of it, because it doesn't matter when you start, you're already 6 months late. That's the way the social world is going. So we want to build brand awareness for your spa. We want to reach a new audience for your spa. We want to find and engage with these customers. And if your customers are on social, you need to be on social. You need to be where they are. You need to have that presence. Because if you don't, you know who does? Your competitors. And that's who they're going to find. You need to generate interest in your spa on social. That is what is going to eventually convert into bookings. Engage and manage influencers that we just talked about, because that can be a job within itself. And use Facebook retargeting to re-engage lost website leads. So Facebook retargeting is essentially, you know when you talk about something and then all of a sudden all the ads that you see on Facebook are of that thing? Because I'm here and I've been here for the last day, every second ad on my social media at the moment is for hotels. It's insane. Your phones are always watching. They're always listening, and they're there to provide you with that information as soon as you log on. So Facebook advertising has a really interesting feature where you can advertise to the people who came to your website but didn't book. So it's just popping up into their face again and reminding them, hey, we're here. It's extremely powerful. It's a very low cost form of advertising as well to get back in front of their faces and turn those leads that disappeared into bookings in your spa. So you want to ensure that you've got someone that can manage that as well. Now, ROI. What is this return on investment? How do we track it? How do we know if we're getting good results? Well, because it can be difficult, it is difficult. It's different for everybody. So what you need to do is you need to sit down with your marketing team and work out what your goals are, because that is what you are tracking. You are trying to work out, are you aiming for growth in followers? Is that your goal? Because then you can put numbers on that per month, per week, per year, whatever it may be, and actually work towards that and know if the team that you're hiring or the agency that you're hiring are doing a good job or not. Do you want more ROI? Again, do you want those actual bookings? That's what you can track. Do you want Facebook advertising, like I was just discussing them? Do you need someone to handle customer service concerns? You know, we live in an age where if a customer comes in and they have a bad experience, they're not going to call you. They're going to go straight to your social media and complain on there for the world to see. How are you going to handle that? Because again, the way that you handle that, that's a direct reflection of your entire brand. You can't ignore it. But what's going to be said? How's it going to be said? Is there a standard procedure? What is it going to be? Or all of the above. And something to really consider, 40% of millennials decide on a travel destination based on its Instagram ability. So that's almost half. They will only go somewhere if they can take pictures and videos that look cool on social media. That's huge. The power that lies in that is huge. So if you can showcase on your social media, here's a great way to take here's a great place to take an Instagram photo. I was walking on the beach this morning, and I don't know if anyone has noticed, they've got an Instagram panel on the side of the beach, here. So that's directly allowing people to see the tags, to see the location tags, to see the hashtags, share it on their social media, and then there's that branded content straight away. Something to consider. Next. Where am I clicking? This way? There we go. Okay. So when you are hiring social media management, these are the exact tasks that you are looking for people to do. Creating a strategy, managing a content calendar, scheduling and automating your posts, curating and creating content, writing captions, engaging with followers as well and your customers online, managing your influencer relationships, and reviewing your analytics and determining your further strategy. And I will enforce that a good social media manager will always know the latest trends and they will want to jump on top of them, because that's a huge thing about social media as well. Different trends come up all the time, and you need a social media manager or a social media team or an agency that know what these trends are, know when they're relevant to your brand, and know how they can use those trends to expand your reach to your market. What to look for if you are hiring someone in-house. 3 years experience in social. I wouldn't do anybody who doesn't have at least that much time. It is a relatively new world, but 3 years is really the minimum. A degree in marketing and communications or business. Social it's really a form of communicating. It's not traditional advertising. It's gathering an audience online and then sharing a message to them. And if you do it smart, you don't need to advertise to them, because it's about building up this online community that people want to be a part of, and then they make the purchasing decision based on that community. You need to look for someone who's comfortable building relationships and networking. They're called social networks. People forget about that word. So it needs to be somebody that is comfortable with doing that. Experience using tools such as Google Analytics and other scheduling tools as well. Understanding the fundamentals of reporting on the analytics. So the analytics is the data on your account and your audience, what's working, what's not, what's getting you results, what do you need to do more of, what do you need to do less of. And someone that's creative, forward-thinking and organised. So my best tip, whether you're hiring in-house or you're hiring an agency, look at their social platforms. If they suck, they're probably going to suck. If you want someone to be good at social media, they need to have good social media themselves, right? If they don't, why not? Wouldn't they? So it's definitely something to look at. So that basically wraps up the presentation today. Does anyone have any questions on either influencers or social management? Did you learn something?
Yeah.
Oh, did you learn many things? Excellent. All right, well, I'll stick around if you've got any questions or if you think of anything. Obviously, I'm social media, so you can basically find me in many ways. Instagram, Facebook, I have a YouTube channel, I have a website as well. So if you have any questions after this, please let me know. Thank you.